Have you read the Quran?
No, but I need a copy of it.
Today's the day.
Thank you.
No worries. It's an English translation.
Thank you.
Just a bit of an introduction. What do you believe yourself?
I was raised in a religion. I'm sort of into different concepts. Like I do a lot of yogic sort of Vedic texts and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But my one friend, he's Muslim himself, and
very nice.
I've been wanting to read the Quran, and I actually downloaded an app on my phone, but it's kind of hard to read it on it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the books.
Yeah, it's
I like the books.
I know. I have one of those.
You know, well, the technology
home, but I never use it. I prefer to pick up a book.
Right. So, do you know anything about Islam?
A little bit, because my friends explained a lot. I think it's like one of the oldest texts.
Yeah, and oldest and the final.
Yes.
Oldest and the final.
Yeah.
When you ask people, what do you believe? Some may say that they believe this tree is God. They don't have a definition of God. Some may just worship human beings. Some people worship Jesus, he is a creation of God. Some people worship animals. So they don't have a definition of God. They say they believe in God, but they don't have a definition of God. So God defines himself in the Quran, in this book. In one of the chapters of the Quran, 112th chapter, the Surah Al-Ikhlas, God says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say he is God, the one and only. He's only one, not three in one.
Yeah, that was a big concept.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Allahu Samad, God the absolute and eternal. It means God is not dependent on anything and he is independent of everything. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. That means he begets not, nor was he begotten. He was not begotten by anybody. He is the creator of everything. Why would he need to have children and beget and then was begotten? Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing whatever like unto him. So the moment you contain a mental picture of anything, that being cannot be God. So that God, he does not become his creation to know what is good or what is bad for his creation. What he does, he chooses a man amongst men whom he communicates on a higher level, whom we call them as prophets and messengers. To these prophets and messengers, God just don't leave them to wander around. He gives them the revelation, the guidance.
Well, Moses was one of the
he was given the revelation, the Torah was given to him.
Yeah.
And then Jesus was the second one after that. He was given the Injil, the
There's a
gospel.
lot of similarity to this. I studied the Bible lots when I was a kid. Like
Right.
I was in Jehovah's Witness religion. And
so you left?
I left, yeah, because I didn't like all the concepts, and it was very cultish.
Yeah.
It was very like I wasn't
allowed
to do anything.
Sorry to say, but it's a cult.
It is.
It is.
And my mom left too, and my brother.
And moreover, God has the word Jehovah or Yahweh is nowhere to be found in any of the original manuscripts of the Bible.
Right? Yeah.
You talk about the Old Testament or you talk about the New Testament, nowhere does it actually mentions. And the innumerable contradictions and errors in the Bible and everything. I have a Bible here.
Yeah.
I study that, right? Like for example, I'll just give you one example here.
We didn't believe in the JW religion. It wasn't about the Trinity though.
Right.
We were all like,
Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in the Trinity. Because Jesus never preached Trinity.
No.
He has always mentioned, if you read the Gospel of John chapter 17 verse number 3, Jesus says that this is life eternal, so that you may know how the only true God. He mentioned about the only true God. The first commandment of Moses was Shema Israelu Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O men of Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Jesus repeated verbatim in Mark chapter 12 verse number 29. He says Shema Israelu Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You know a lot here.
I've studied it. I've studied it.
I can tell, yeah.
So how did Judas die? If you read, just giving you an example, so you have that back of your head. Page number 550. Judas was one of the disciples of Jesus.
Yes, Judas Iscariot.
Yeah.
He was the one that betrayed Jesus.
Yeah. There's a big question to that. See, Jesus told in Gospel of John, he asked the disciples to receive the Holy Spirit. Judas was there as well. My question is, how did Judas betray Jesus after receiving the Holy Spirit?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That means the Spirit can deceive you as well.
Yeah.
So anybody who actually claims to have the Spirit.
Yeah, and just like Christmas and
right.
That being his day of birth, Jesus' day of birth.
So it says that.
Wrong.
There's a 550. Yeah, I mean it was the pagan festival that was celebrated in the Nordic places. They used to worship the sun god, and from there it came the son of God. They used to worship Mithras, the sun god.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah. So Matthew chapter 27, it says, and he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged him. This is talking about Judas. He hanged himself. And in another place, if you read in the book of Acts 6:05, I've made a note of these things because it's easy to show. Right? It says that now this man, who Judas, purchased a field with the reward of iniquity, and falling headlong, he burst asunder in the midst, and all of his bowels gushed out, and he died. In one place in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 27, it says that he hanged himself.
He hanged himself, and then another.
And the other place it says that he fell headlong, and then his intestines came out, and then he died. So did he hang himself?
Or did he?
Or did he die of that? The one is enough to
itself, basically.
and Paul as well, on his way to Damascus, in one place he says that he has seen the vision of Jesus. Second place he says that he didn't actually see anything, he only heard the voice. Did he see Jesus or did he heard the voice? A lot of it. This is enough to
make you question.
100%.
Right?
And the intelligent will definitely question.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the reason when we come to the Quran challenges its readers in one of the chapters of the Quran.
I'm glad to have this because
right?
It'll be easier to read on paper than
the Quran challenges and says Afala yatadabbaruna al-Quran in the Arabic. Right, the essence stays if I recite the Arabic.
I wish I could speak.
Yeah, me too.
My friend can speak it.
Right?
It's Egyptian, but yeah.
So God says that if you're in doubt that this book is not from God, then the only thing somebody has to do to challenge is to take out a mistake from the book, like how I just did.
Right? Yeah.
And if somebody says that, hey, you know what, I don't know how to take out a mistake or whatever, then God challenges some other places. In, for example, Surah Baqarah chapter 2, verse number 22 and 23 and 24, God says, if you are in doubt as to what we have revealed to our servant from time to time, then try and produce a surah like that of the Quran, a chapter like that of the Quran. The smallest one is 3 verses. So the falsification tests and everything. So the book is preserved itself. And the reason that I say that the book is preserved is because God took the responsibility to preserve the book. William Muir, he was one of the critics of Islam. He says that the only book to have actually remained in its pure form for the last 12 centuries, he said this 200 years ago, is the Quran. Otherwise, in the Bible, you have the King James version, and then I have like 4 other.
There's so many different versions.
Revised translation. Why would the human beings need to?
What I grew up in, we had our own version.
Yeah, the New World Translation you guys read.
New World Translation, yeah. And it was like in my family history for a long time. Like my great grandpa opened the work up in Scotland. And like he wrote literature and stuff.
Right. Okay.
It's very ingrained in our family.
Well, I'm glad that you came out of that. And I pray to God that may God actually guide you to His mercy and guide you to Islam. You read and then you pray to God that may God guide you. Read the Quran, have a pamphlet and everything.
Thank you
very much. No worries. Take care, okay?